Welcome back to Beards and Brews, everybody. This week's review is going to be Beetlejuice from 1988. Gentlemen, it's showtime.
Well, daylight has come.
But I want to go home.
There we go.
So that was Beetlejuice, everybody. Oh.
Yeah, that's it. Night, everybody.
Wait, we can go? We're
Ladies and
going now?
gentlemen,
Okay.
Mr. Conway Twitty.
This movie's a lot of fun. It's entirely charming. This movie is nothing but charm.
It is a lot of fun. There's a lot of, the visuals are really great. The idea is really great. Not a whole lot actually goes on, TBH.
No,
I didn't
not
realize. I didn't realize that the actual story was just kind of 2 or 3 parts. But yeah,
Oh shit, we did. Get out my house. Nah.
No. Yeah. Shit.
Jump in the line. Rock your body in time. Movie is going off.
God.
yeah. The movie is very much more. I don't know really how to say it. It's more fun and more visually. I don't know. I feel like I just said that. Cut all that.
I'll say this. The fucking music, as always, for normally like a Tim Burton or like if Danny Elfman has worked on something, I love it. And fuck, if this soundtrack isn't good, especially when it's like coming on, it's got that spooky daylight come on me one go.
Straight fire.
Yeah,
Fire.
It's so fucking good.
The movie does a real good job of setting the tone immediately.
And
Oh,
what
yeah.
is that?
Like the Danny Elfman soundtrack, it starts super spooky, and you're like, oh shit, this is fucking weird. And as soon as that helicopter shot scoots over the mountain, right into wackiness. So you know exactly what you're gonna get.
Wacky.
Yeah.
You can definitely say that. It's wacky.
The way it transitions from real small town into the model is fucking amazing. It's almost seamless.
It kinda is, because I looked at my phone for a little bit too long, and I looked up, I was like, wait a minute.
What just happened here?
I feel bamboozled.
Sir, I believe we've been bamboozled and possibly duped.
Like that.
So pretty much what we start out with, we've got Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, who are a couple who live in this gigantic, obnoxiously large house.
I'd like to point out this is shockingly thin Alec Baldwin.
Oh
Yeah, he's hard to recognize.
I was like, huh, you're right. That is a Baldwin.
This was like Chandler from Friends on Coke. Small.
But another thing here, I think it's weird how small the town is. Like, it gives you that helicopter shot to show you the size of the town. It's like fucking 50 houses tops.
Yeah, and absolutely half of the volume of the town is in that house.
Yes.
Very true. This is a real place. It's a town in Vermont. I forgot what it was called, its actual name, but everything is still there except for the house that they shot it in.
And somewhere in that town, Bernie Sanders is yelling at the billionaires.
Just in the distance.
He's out there
But-
fucking saying Beetlejuice 3 times.
Billionaires,
this-
billionaires, billionaires!
Oh.
This house is obnoxiously huge, like we said, but it's not ornate or anything. It's not like a mansion. It's just a really big house.
They use it to the movie's credit because it's just 2 people living in this giant house, and for some reason this realtor is bugging the shit out of both Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis. He's like, this house is too big for you, you better have a family.
Yeah.
Gina Davis is like, wait
You
a
should
minute.
sell it. You should let me sell it.
Have
And then
kids,
it's
bitch.
But she gets all sad. There's a little hint that she might be barren. I don't know, or they tried before and it didn't work out.
No, she wants the goddamn commission.
Yeah, but she's Alec Baldwin, when in their car, is like, well, maybe we can try again during our vacation or whatever, and, gives her a sweet little touch.
I'm barren high.
Oh.
Still one of the Arizona twins. But these fuckers just sit around their house ignoring phone calls, freeing spiders, and jamming to Caribbean beats all day long.
I mean,
And
it's the
making-
simple life. It's so simple.
And they do, at least he makes some very ornate models of the town.
Yep, that's what he does. He owns the local tool shop.
Yeah, that some old guy is just sitting in his rocking chair, spouting
Oh.
stories to literally no one.
Did you
I
listen to
might have I might have actually missed that. He owns that shop.
Yeah,
Is that why he was just able to like walk in and walk out so quickly?
yeah, it says Maitland. That's their last name.
Yeah.
Oh. Huh. All right.
Now you know. G.I. Joe.
Those pork chop sandwiches.
So these guys, it sets you up immediately that they're the fucking most wholesome of wholesome types. They have to run out to do some errands. Dude's talking about hippies with long hair. Alec Baldwin's ignoring him. They jump back in the car. They're heading home with their little fucking covered bridge. And there's a puppy. And, you know, they're wholesome, so they can't hit the fucking dog. They slam through the side of the goddamn thing. The dog appears, kills them. Fuck dogs. Fuck women drivers.
Oh, damn.
Just briefly, yeah. And this entire fucking station wagon is leveraged on one piece of wood. Just so happens that dog that they swerved from is just standing right on top, plotting their demise.
That dog says, "Fuck these people. I didn't even like these people."
Should have hit me, bitch. That's what he said. And then he gets off the thing, and they fucking turn into soggy ghosts.
Yep.
Walking around their house with candle fingers and shit. Gina Davis is like, you might want to take a look at this. And she's got like a little horse figurine dancing it in front of the mirror. And the first thing I thought was, God damn. You know, she must have her shit together because it took Patrick Swayze the entire fucking movie to figure out how to move shit.
Well, maybe she's already seen that movie, so she knows what to expect. Like, what to expect when you're expecting death.
Yeah, you just got to get real mad to grab the horse.
That's a good point.
They got like the little book too. They got this little book for the recently deceased. I love the idea of a handbook for the recently deceased. I think it's fucking adorable.
I love how this is all just like it's just full of bureaucracy already. Like just being dead, you have to go through all these steps. You need a handbook. You have to like see the receptionist. You have to have a fucking appointment and everything.
So you're talking about like the receptionist appointment, all this stuff. They get in quick because, you know, they use one of their emergency things or what the fuck ever. But if you notice, the same people are waiting in line at the start of the film as at the end of the film whenever Beetlejuice goes back there. And he's waiting in line now. It's the same motherfuckers because they're only serving number 3 for all of eternity. They're on number 3.
I like how some of them have numbers so long, the strip is longer than what they can hold, but the little number ticker only has 2 digits in it.
Yep.
It's like, well, alright then. I'll just die. But the movie quickly sets some ground rules. Yes, they are dead. Their home is kind of their purgatory. They have things to do, and they're not allowed to leave.
Yeah, and you know her biggest woe is she can't clean properly.
Oh yeah,
Everything's
there's
just
dust on everything. If this was heaven, there wouldn't be dust.
Yeah, we get a little glimpse into our intrepid hero's lair as he's reading the obituaries, and he sees their obituaries. Like, oh, looky there, huh? They look good and stupid. Just
Really, our intrepid hero.
I fucking love Beetlejuice. I fucking love Michael Keaton's performance as Beetlejuice.
No, he's
God.
absolutely great in this.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that anyone they put in that role would be a better Beetlejuice than Michael Keaton in this.
There's something about it that is... There's a piece of Michael Keaton in this character. There's no other way that I can put my thumb on it. And it comes out later on when he has this like crazy monologue when they finally meet up with the family. But I have to agree that I could not see anybody else in this character.
Wonderful choice. So congrats to them for that.
But unfortunately, the sandworms are up 13%.
13%. Gotta watch out for that. So they've been dead. Some time has passed. Some new tenants are moving in, and we get introduced to the truest goth gal, Lydia Dietz.
Oh yeah, she straight up looks like Robert Smith from The Cure.
Her face in shadows smile.
It's them bangs.
Are they bangs really? Do those count as bangs? Because they're kind of pointed sideways.
After a while, they turn into like some weird fang-looking thing, so I don't
Look.
know.
They're bangs in italics.
Alright.
We get a glimpse at, you know, the dad, Charles, and the stepmother, Delia.
That is Mr. Rooney from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, for those paying
Yeah.
attention. And the mom from Home Alone.
Now we know.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
The whole time I was like, hey, look, it's the principal from Ferris Bueller. Man, his wife's a cunt.
And then we get Varus fucking from Game of Thrones, dressed like Pee Wee Herman crawling through windows.
I had him put down as that skunk-haired guy from Demolition Man.
Oh, yes!
And through my 8 pages of notes, I didn't mention him once.
No.
Unimportant.
So they're trying to scare these people already, but they don't realize, they can't see me or whatever. And she's like in the closet, hung herself, trying to spook them. And whenever they open the closet and she's in there hanging, I was like, oh man, David Carradine, no.
Oh no.
Yeah, I
Then
guess they just instinctively know to be spooky.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there. It's in their system now.
Let's try this out.
She later has a spook where she's trying to scare them again, and she has cut off her husband's head, and it's a gruesome, jaggedy looking cut. And all I can think was, did she really cut his fucking head off? Because they're ghosts, and I know they can do weird shit, but that's pretty fucking morbid.
Yeah, I don't think either of them knew or realized that if it was like irreversible, they just did it.
Yeah.
Might as well try this out. It might be fun.
We get like some scenes of them moving into the house, and this is like the first big laugh of the film, or at least it was for me. It's like this sculpture, and it looks like a bunch of jaggedy spikes on a chair or some shit.
It looks like when you squeeze silly putty really tight in your hand, it looks like the folds.
Ooh, good description. But sharper. And it slams down and traps Delia against the wall. And she goes, "This is my art, and it's dangerous. You think I want to die like this?" And she's fucking losing her shit.
It's good because it's like, uh-oh, foreshadowing, finger on the nose.
Mm-hmm. Lydia gets a skeleton key. The Maitlands keep her from coming to the attic, which is where
how spooky, a skeleton key.
Doo-doo-doo-doo. And now we get to see Beetlejuice for the first time in a commercial on the TV.
Oh yeah.
And the fucking commercial's so good. Michael Keaton is giving it everything. He's like, "You got these pesky living critters. I got demons running all through me." He fucking throws himself on the ground and is kicking his legs.
He is the Afterlife's leading bioexorcist. I have no idea what that means, but I'm about to call him up.
Yeah, I mean,
if anything, at that point, he's yeet his last haw.
Shit is so good. Like, he's even got a jingle at the end. He's like, "I'll eat anything you want me to eat. I'll swallow anything you want me to swallow. Come on down, do you want a dog?" Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And this is as much an ad for us as it is for the characters in this movie. This shows us exactly who he is.
Shitty salesman. He'll do anything to get what he wants. As soon as you say yes, he'll just fuck you over.
That sounds like a pretty good salesman, actually.
For Beetlejuice says, "Knocked out car salesman."
That's good. I like that.
So much exorcism in this bad boy. I have to make it like chalk door or some nonsense. The movie, for me, anyways. As soon as Beetlejuice gets introduced, I want more of him.
Yeah, that's all you want to see.
Every scene to see more of this guy. He's so fucking good. But there's like a rule of 3. We get it with the knocks. You get it with her saying home 3 times. You get it with them having to say Beetlejuice's name, the Candyman's name, Bloody Mary's names, the times I've seen Eric do a poop shotgun. I mean,
what is a poop shotgun? What am I missing here?
I'll put the link in the description.
All right.
Wait, can I do that? I think they took it down. I think it's off of YouTube and Dailymotion. But for those listening, a poop shotgun is when you bust into the bathroom while your buddy's taking a big old dookie, throw him a beer, and say, "Poop shotgun!" So he has to fucking
slam
shotgun that beer while he's taking a
3
shit.
times. Crack it open, get shit on the seat. After that, like, there's a scene where, Charles is trying to relax and he's looking at birds, and Winona Ryder goes and bugs him, and he's like, "Why don't you let me relax?" And he like turns around, slaps her on the ass, and I was like, slapping Winona on the ass, and he calls her pumpkin. I was like, this is, a little jealous.
A little bit weird. By the way, Winona Ryder in this movie is probably, I don't know, I'm going to throw out a guess, like 14, 15?
Perversion.
I haven't looked at IMDb. That's just my guess.
That's when we hear the SWAT team bust down Chandler's door.
Kill the brown!
I don't know. I'm just saying it's kind of weird.
don't know how many fucking 80s movies he's been in. He was in Sleepy Hollow too, but that fucking principal from Ferris Bueller's always been fucking pedophile-y.
Always be fucking.
Always be fucking.
Ugh.
But they get to go, the Maitlands anyways, they get to go to the social services of the afterlife. And you get to see some of the people there. And there is one character in particular that really stands out, and he made me fucking chuckle as soon as I saw him. The burn-up smoking dude.
Oh yeah, I got him written down as Newport Groot.
Newport Groot. I fucking love it.
All right.
He's trying to like pass out cigarettes, and they're like, "Nah, man, I'm good." And he's like, "Well, I'm trying to cut down myself."
And he's literally burnt up like the end of that cigarette.
I love that they gave him the little thing that you do when you're sitting around waiting and you're bouncing your leg. He's clearly like just a burned up skeleton, but his little legs just bouncing because he's impatient.
Everybody in that waiting room has their own like little like what do you call it, isms and personality and everything. Because you got Newport Groot, you got Shrunken Head Guy, Miss Argentina is the receptionist, and you have that split in half lady that's sitting on both sides of the couch.
Well, let's not forget about Roadkill Martin Short.
Was that Martin Short?
No, but it looked like it.
Okay.
Instead of short, he's flat.
Hey. So apparently in the afterlife, you get really fucking cool hallways. Like this one is topsy-turvy, dips down in places. It almost looks like a fun house thing. And Juno, their caseworker, who looks like if Judge Judy and Jessica Fletcher from Murder, She Wrote had a baby.
Oh. Like, I recognize this lady from somewhere, and I think it's being like an agent. I don't know who this is, but I know her as the same character.
Yeah.
I had the same thing. I don't know her name either, but she had a fucking cool thing going on. She, I guess she died from having her throat cut or something, so it's just always open throat.
Yeah.
Flopping around like a Canadian.
Every time she took a drag off her cigarette, she wouldn't have to exhale; it just came out of her throat. I thought that was fucking nice.
Yeah, they referenced that too, and Miss Argentina showed it, that she cut her wrists, that, you know, there were some hung people, there were different things like this, that if you kill yourself, then in the afterlife you become a civil servant.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just going to call her Coach. That's what those football guys called her.
Oh man, that's such a good little bit. But this little thing with them, she's like, well, what do you want? She goes, well, I want him out of my house. She goes, well, get him out of your house. And he goes, well, we're unhappy. She goes, well, what did you expect? You're dead.
Yeah, just go be
That's more
spooky,
reference.
you idiots.
Yeah, and she's like, but we saw this dude, this beetle. And she's like, no, you don't want his help. He's a troublemaker. He's been sleazing around your cemetery. She tells him how to call him and all this shit, but it's like, you don't want to do that.
Oh shit, that lady was the grandma in Mars Attacks.
Was
Oh, dang.
Coming full fucking circle, everybody.
Damn. But now we get like another little taste of Beetlejuice. It shows like the perspective of like a fly buzzing around the model town. And Beetlejuice is like, oh yeah. He fucking puts a little zag nut. He's like, why don't you have a little bite? You want something to nosh? And he's just like, come here. And fucking grabs the fly and pulls it in. And the fly even goes, help me.
It's like a funny little thing, but like at first I didn't know why that was in the movie. And I just went back and watched that little piece again. I was like, wait, it's just to show he's like a fucking swindler. That's all he does.
Yeah. The Maitlands give their first attempt to scare off the deets by destroying designer sheets and floating around. And this scene is pretty fucking good too.
Oh, when they dressed up as
$300 sheets. Who?
Like, they're trying to scare the father figure, and he opens the door. He goes, your mom's gonna be pissed that she ruined her sheets, and just like shuts the door on the ghost, and he just kind of mopes away.
I think it's great how they have infinite possibilities what they could do to scare people, and they fucking dress up as Charlie Brown from The Great Pumpkin.
And then they try to up the ante, and they're like, well, we gotta moan really loud, you know, just moan. And they're like, whoa, oh, it's very sexual sounding. Lydia, this shit's so good. She's like banging on the wall. She's like, I'm a child, for God's sakes.
Knock it
You
off.
gotta keep that in the bedroom.
Yeah, she's like, you gotta keep your weird sexual perversions in the bedroom. Shit was good, and they're like, we're ghosts. And she goes, I'm not scared of sheets. Are you gross under there? And she's trying to peer into the sheets.
I think Gina Davis says like, well, if I were your age, I'd be scared out of my whatever.
They peek into the mom's room. and they try and spook her up too, and she's just like, change the TV channel or whatever, flips the channel on the remote. They go back to her and is like, what's wrong? We can't scare her. She's not scaring. Well, she's on a date with Prince Valium tonight.
Fucking
That's a great
lost.
Yeah.
She's like, well, can we scare you guys away? And she's like, look, you never met my dad. Charles never walks away from equity.
At the beginning of this movie, I kind of felt for him because he's just out there to escape the city. He's just like, leave me alone. You know, this is what we need. This is healthy for us. And his fucking wife is just like, my fucking sculptures. Everything has to be modern art, whatever.
No, I still feel for him. Like, she is the worst. Just the worst.
She's the best. But they get a little desperate. And they say the name 3 times. And they wind up in the model.
What's the name?
It goes from Beetlejuice
Battle guys?
to Beetlejuice literally in one scene.
Well, you think it's because they heard that ad on the television?
Or that was the moment, like, the studio note came in. It's like, that name's fucking stupid. It's Beetlejuice.
So they have to dig him up. And this is a really fun scene with, like, the green foam grass and the corkboard floor.
It was super clever. Like, it's totally a model, we all know, but it's just like what they have to dig through is what he had to build through all those years. So there's like layers of shit.
Yeah, it's really neat. And whenever they finally do dig him up, he comes busting out dressed like a fucking cabbie. And his facial expressions, as soon as you get to see him, he just like arms out, face just big full smile, eyebrows raised, and then it's just, as soon as you see this character, he's fucking flawless.
Hell yeah, I'm fucking out. It's time to party.
Yeah, the first thing he does is run over and kiss Gina Davis. And then he just goes over to the Alec Baldwin's character, and he's like, is this relationship solid? Be honest with me. Do I got a shot with her? He tries to kiss her again.
And he's like, fucking stop it. Then Beetlejuice is like 10 feet away with a stick trying to like move up her skirt and stuff.
Yeah, just trying to look up. The way he responds, he's like, what? It's like...
Now, this is the scene that solidifies Beetlejuice as a character in cinematic history. This entire, 10-minute scene?
Yes.
It's amazing. That's why at the beginning I said that Beetlejuice is Michael Keaton and vice versa. Because there's some je ne sais quoi. I don't know what it is, but it's beautiful. It's wildly entertaining.
Something
just
so
to
good
see
you
him.
have to say it in 2 languages.
Baguette.
Oh,
Omelette du fromage.
So, the basic thing going on here, Alec Baldwin's clueless. He's dead and nothing surprises him. He's just like, hey man, we just want to scare these guys off. We're kind of junk at it. What are your qualifications? And this monologue that Beetlejuice has is amazing. Because he does not start out like at 100 miles an hour. He starts out as Michael Keaton. Like, he's
100%.
way down low. Like, excuse me, I went to Juilliard and all this stuff, and he immediately just goes like an explosion of character. It's wonderful.
Yeah, like you can listen to him transform into Beetlejuice as he's doing it. It's almost like he's doing a reading, and they were like, well, I want you to sound like yourself, and then we'll tell you what we want as you're going. Because he goes, oh, well, I attended Juilliard, and I'm a graduate of Harvard Business School. I lived in the Black Plague. And you're just like, oh, shit. And then it's so fucking good.
And even after this stellar little bit, Alec Baldwin's like, oh, yeah, okay, but can you scare somebody? And he's like, scare people, okay.
Turns around, does the jerk-off motion, fucking...
Like this guy.
He's like, well, I guess you are qualified, but I don't think we're going to go with this. And he's trying to still convince him, so he jumps on him, he's giving him a hug. He's like, oh, come on, man, we got this. And while he's hugging him, he's reaching back, trying to grab at Gina fucking Davis's crotch.
In his voice, I can hear in my head, you can't blame a guy for trying.
Yeah. And then, like, as he's doing that, they're like, well, how do we get out of here? What do we do? He's like, come on, we'll talk inside. And his little run, as he's running up the hill, he's like bow-legged as fuck.
Yeah, it's like a scramble or a waddle.
Yeah, and he's like, we'll talk inside. I hope you like Italian. And then, like, he turns around and they're gone. And he goes, hey, where'd you go? You gotta work with me here! Nice fucking models! And kicks over a fucking tree.
And what's great, after the two have been teleported back to the attic, he just like puts the tree back in the model, just like...
Yeah, just like,
Well, I want to make this place nice.
I'm just saying, like, you could get away with a lot more in 88 than you can now. Like, that shit would not fly in a PG fucking movie.
PG.
Oh, yeah, that
fucking
was...
movie.
Oh. Now it is French.
Oh,
But right after that, we are treated to the only scene where all the other characters really get to have a moment to shine, even slightly close to Michael Keaton, and that's the dinner party possession scene.
this is probably the quintessential scene in the movie, if you ask me.
And before we get into it, surprise Dick Cavett. Just out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere.
Who? What?
Nobody? That's their guess. It's Dick Cavett from the Dick Cavett Show from the 60s and 70s. Like, super famous late night talk show host. Anybody?
I don't know who or
Anybody?
what that is.
That's fucking great. So you just opened a window and yelled out into the street. Oh.
I don't know who or what that is, but evidently Eric is excited about it.
I'm just saying this movie has some cameos that don't fucking make sense. They're just there. Like, if you know them, you know them. If you don't, you don't. Like,
Yeah.
later on, Robert Goulet pops up. Because Robert Goulet.
That's a name I have heard, but no one that I would ever recognize.
It's old Hollywood, folks. Yeah, see?
So, as they're sitting down for dinner, it's not talking about ghosts yet, and then it becomes a ghost-themed thing. And she goes, ghosts in designer sheets, no less. And Charles has a fucking line that I went, what the fuck? Is that what, yuppies would really say to one another? I guess they're all in real estate. And he goes, may all your buildings go condo. And I was just like, what?
I mean, it's all equity.
Yeah, there we go. But that's also the lead up for the big moment where Delia is like, well, let me tell you about, and then she grabs her throat and goes, you saw there, you saw there, you saw there.
I like that bit because Chuck is just like, hey, that's fantastic. How you doing that, hun? And he looks under the table looking for like a record player or something.
Yeah. And then he pops up out of the seat with a hand on his tummy and one out to his left, kind of doing the calypso.
Yeah, one by one, everybody at the table just starts singing and dancing this, daylight come and me want go home.
And nobody's afraid. Nobody. It's like, if you're not possessed, you're entertained. They're just like, wow, this is great. Wow, very eclectic. I like it.
He's just like, what? Fuck it. And starts drumming on the ice bucket.
Yeah.
And then, like, the dad's like, the black tarantula. His arms go up. He looks just ridiculous. And then they're all grabbed by shrimp cocktail hands that throws them back against the wall. And they had a great fucking time. And it was supposed to be terrifying.
Such a fun scene.
And they had fun. And that's the real thing here, guys. Just
and
have
as
fun.
a viewer, you're having fun.
It
And as a
just comes
listener,
out of
I
nowhere.
hope you're having fun.
Oh, Chandler. He cares.
That's what I'm saying. But the next shit is the stunner. They run upstairs, they're all excited, they're happy, and it cuts back downstairs, and everyone's already plotting on how they're going to make money off this shit.
Just like fucking Val and Earl from Tremors, just like, how can we monetize this immediately?
I'm just saying, Delia's agent was blunt as fuck. He goes, I have consistently lost money on your work, and if anything happens here, I'll handle it.
Oh yeah, like, that was Dick Cavett, by the way. Anybody? And on his way out, he's just like, you're a flake. You've always been a flake.
And if you insist on scaring people, do it with your sculptures.
Oh.
He burns her, man.
It's like a degree of burn that's not even on the scale anymore.
Oh, it's on the scale. It's crispy. That's an inside joke, people.
Oh.
But fucking Delia, she goes, let me teach you something, Lydia. Living or dead, if you give people a chance, they'll walk all over you. And she starts beating on the goddamn attic door, screaming, open up! Just fucking brutal.
They just want another fiesta again.
Fucking Otho swipes a book, and then Beetlejuice is fucking laughing at him, just laughing at the Maitlands.
For a movie that has his namesake, he's actually not in the movie very long, or very much, really.
No, but by God, if he is on that screen, you are drawn to him. They use him perfectly.
Like, every time he is on screen, I'm just like, what are you doing? Ah, he's crazy.
No, as soon as you see him, you're like, shit's about to happen, and it's going to be great. Like the following scene, because he says, let's turn on the juice and see what shakes loose.
That has to be on a t-shirt somewhere.
I guarantee it.
Well, I'm going to see what shakes loose when I open up this bottle of juice. What I've got here is a bottle of Founder's Dirty Bastard, because Beetlejuice is also a dirty bastard. I like him, though.
I agree.
This is a Scotch-style ale from Founder's Brewing Company out of, I don't know, somewhere in Michigan.
Probably the little part.
Probably, yeah. It's 8.5% ABV. If you smell it, it smells super malty. Little bit of toasty, little bit of peaty smoke aroma to it. Like, it's a little bit sweet, but not cloyingly sweet. It's sweet in the same way that bread is sweet, like a good rye bread. Toasty in the same way, too. But it's got a little bit of that smoke overtone. It's good. It's real good.
I went through literally 4 different beers today. I tried a hibiscus hard lemonade by fucking the Devil's Backbone. I fucking hated it. I immediately took a drink, had my wife try it. I was like, you know what? It's kind of sweet. It's kind of bitter. It just tastes like orange peel. I don't want this. So I decided to open a different one. I had another one from Devil's Backbone, and it was a peanut butter chocolate stout. And I was like, this should be fun. I take a drink. It hits me right on the front of the tongue, sits there for a good 30 seconds after I've already taken a drink. And I was like, you know what? This tastes like if you had really, 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 really cheap, bad chocolate sitting next to a Reese cup that someone soaked in beer. And I was like, this isn't for me. And then I tried some tangerine fucking carbonated ale. And I was like, man, conclusion that I don't like beer. I'm like, fuck all these beers. It's like, if I'm going to do anything, I'm just going to start buying me some hard ciders. And, you know, it's a brew. So I'm a bitch when it comes to drinking, I suppose.
Fine, leave them all for me. I'll drink them all.
Drink them up.
And if anybody out there has a brew of their own they'd like reviewed by Brady, by all means, send us an email.
Yeah, I'll immediately go, ugh, it tastes like an asshole. I don't like it.
Just all the same.
Well, there was a tropical one, and I was like, it's tropical. This will be fun. Fucking.
And then you're like, it tastes like a tropical asshole.
It was never everyone's idea of tropical in a fucking beer is like, you know what we can do? We can throw some fucking orange peel in that motherfucker with a side taste of pine. What's more tropical than Lysol?
Tropical plumber, eh? Unclog those clogs today.
That's good.
Delia's hand is on the rail as it turns into a fucking snake. And it's Beetlejuice. And he's like, we came for your daughter, Chuck. And he immediately looks up Delia's skirt, which is enough to make her scurry away. And he's so pervy that I love it.
He is a dirty bastard.
Yeah. He fucking damn near kills Chuck. Fucking drops him off the second floor onto a hard, what appears to be marble floor. And he's fine. Just absolutely fine.
Including this, and later on we find out he's not a stranger to the occasional murder.
Yeah, it's just, you know, do what you gotta do. Chuck survives. Lydia's freaked out. The Maitlands say Beetlejuice 3 times, pull him back, but Lydia blames them.
Which I find really odd. Like, I know, like, you have to find conflict somewhere in Act 2, but that was clearly not them. Like, at all.
Not their fault. And we get another taste of who Beetlejuice is. The Maitlands run here, like, tires screeching and a crash, and they look over at the little model, and Beetlejuice has wrecked this tiny red truck into a fire hydrant. He's like, jumps out, and he's all twitchy and angry, and it's just, he's fucking emoting so beautifully that as soon as you see him, you go, I love it. I love it. It just is what it is.
It's the cocaine. That's what it is.
It is the 80s.
Yeah.
What I love most about this is that he had to have shot this against nobody. Like, he had to be, like, superimposed in. So when he shot the scene, he's just screaming at the sky.
And he does a great job of making it believable because Gina Davis's character reaches in and picks him up, and she's trying to scold him, and he like pops spikes all out of him, and she drops him, and he sticks into the cork board, which I thought was a beautiful touch. And instead of arguing or saying, haha, I got you, he just immediately ignores that it even happened. He goes, you know what? I'm feeling a little anxious. It's been 600 years. I wonder where a guy, an everyday Joe like myself, could find a little action.
Then suddenly, out of nowhere, like this titty bar pops up in the middle of nowhere.
You can't even say titty bar because they straight reference it as a whorehouse moments later.
Yep, I first have written down titty bar, then I have written down right underneath of it, whorehouse. Could be both. I don't know why you wouldn't have
Inferno room. He combs his hair, and he's like, oh, yeah, and then he like hump jumps into it.
I like as soon as he starts getting to the groove of stuff with all those spikes all over him, like his whole fucking joke is that he's horny.
Yeah, 100%. And it's...
To be fair, it has been a while.
600 years. He's a little anxious, if you know what he means.
And he's just covered in horns.
The Maitlands find themselves back in the dead world, and they're getting scolded for letting Otho get the book. The scene, you know, it's there to drive the movie forward, show some plot points, and it's whatever. There's a few good jokes, especially with the football team that you referenced earlier.
It's so good. I don't know, Coach. I don't think we survived that plane crash.
Then she's just so fucking dry to him. Oh yeah? What gave it away? Just...
rip in peace.
And this, it cuts back, and we get Lydia. You know, downtrodden, heartbroken, you know, that the Maitlands have betrayed her trust somehow. And she writes out her super emo goth letter, I am alone. And she talks about jumping into a river to kill herself, which is funny because she does that in Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Ooh, good reference.
Oh, in this movie, I just thought they were Morrissey lyrics.
But I thought it was just because, you know, the other two had died in the river. They drowned, so it's like a connection or whatever.
Probably so, because she is infatuated with them. Suddenly, they are like family. Because they were told that they need to scare them out, and they stretch their faces out in these really cool ways.
For 1988 effect, there was a lot of stop motion in this picture, but it's fucking great. It's
so good.
Amazing.
This is like the pinnacle of stop motion animation, like horror stop motion animation.
And they did a really good thing that every time there's like a really quick change animation, it's just kind of dark, so it looks even better. Like, if there was a mistake or anything, you couldn't really see it. It's just very moody.
Yeah, it fits the film very well, and, you know, it's smart of them to hide that kind of thing in the shadows. To know what you're working with and to light it properly is, you know, especially for the horror genre, is a must.
And we'll talk about the best case in the movie later on, where, like, all the sculptures come to life, because that's fucking ridiculous.
It's really cool, especially whenever it wraps up Chuck. They're supposed to be scaring Lydia away, and they just can't bring themselves to do it. And Lydia's going to, you know, basically give them her suicide letter. And she meets Beetlejuice, the ghost with the most, babe.
And he basically just has the same spiel he's had all movies. Like, hey, you got a problem, I can fix it, but you gotta do something for me.
If you got a problem, he'll solve it.
Check out the beat what DJ revolves it. Vanilla, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. But there's a little bit, like when he's talking to her, and he goes, what are you doing? And she's like, well, he goes, I want to get out. And she goes, well, I want to get in. And he goes, why? You know what? I'm sure you got your reasons. But for me, and he picks up a big old cockroach, puts his leg up like a gym coach, takes a chomp out of it. Death is just too creepy. Just...
That was like his one heart-to-heart the whole movie.
Yeah, and he even kind of drops the raspy little weird Beetlejuice voice. And he, you know, just sounds like Michael Keaton just in that one little moment.
I wonder how it would be to, like, see a story of Beetlejuice before Beetlejuice, or, like, how he became Beetlejuice.
Well, you know, apparently he'll eat anything you wanted to eat.
Swallers.
Come on down.
Like that once.
Do you want a dog? They play charades, and she says his name, and then he's like, "That's it." And she goes, "Beetlejuice?" And he goes, "That's twice. Say it again." She goes, "No. You were the snake, weren't you?" And she goes, he gets fucking livid. He's like, "No! You kids and your imaginations just say it!" And he's just fucking screaming at her.
I think at that point, like, Gina Davis and Alec, almost said Alec Trebek, Alec Baldwin comes back up. And he's like, wait a minute.
And, you know, they kind of tell her, "You don't want to do that."
But you kind of do.
Yeah. And there's a moment whenever they're like trying to get their faces back to normal. Fucking Alec Baldwin's got this big fucking floppy nose, just like blah, 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 dangling around.
He gives a little doot and it jiggles. I like it.
Yeah, just a little. Blah, blah, blah.
Got a schnoz. And even they have like a little laugh, like, ha ha ha, that's silly.
Yeah, we're gonna be a family because we love each other.
Oh.
Then we get Otho, the inadvertent exorcist.
Ooh, the inadvertent exorcist.
Yeah, he thinks he knows what
Be a
he's
good
doing.
band name, maybe.
I mean, it could be a rom-com.
Jesus Spittle.
The power of Christ compels you.
Spelled with toothpicks thrown on the floor.
Yeah, so we're going to this. It's like a seance that turns into an exorcism, I guess.
I mean, don't they always?
Yeah. In this, it's kind of one of the same. They bring down their wedding clothes, the bridal gown and the groom's tux, and I guess they're going to try and exorcise these folks.
And this is all for show, because they had invited Robert Goulet, because he's Robert Goulet, to the house, so that they can get this kind of deal going on where they can buy up the town and sell them all as like condo properties.
Yeah, they're trying to make that paper.
Yeah.
May all your buildings go condo.
Oh.
But this is also one of the most atmospherically fun scenes. Like, they drop the lights, they light some candles, and that fucking Beetlejuice theme comes on again while Otho's like saying the incantations. But that theme is so fucking good.
I mean, Danny Elfman has earned his spot as one of the greatest composers of all time. It's just there's something creepy, uneven, wacky, but still unsettling about his stuff. It's just it is this movie. I mean, it makes it.
Yeah.
Yeah, something else I'm going to say about this movie. I'm not going to say this is Tim Burton's best movie, but this is Tim Burton at his most Tim Burton.
Yeah.
He is just given full reign to do whatever he wants, but within, there is a framework for a story, and I think that's when he is at his best.
Now, can I say something? This is not his work. Now, he directed this picture, but he did not write it. So this is just him taking someone else's idea and putting his own little sprinkle of whatever on top.
Yeah, this is his creative. This is his creative liberty here that he's taking with all of the visuals.
He Tim Burtoned it up. This movie for sure. It came out so well.
I could think of no one better to do this movie than Tim Burton.
Morrissey?
The Cure.
Just Beetlejuice sitting in a corner. Well, heaven knows I'm miserable now.
We get the Maitlands being summoned up, but they're kind of dying while they're being summoned. So Lydia freaks out, and she's like, the only way to get this fixed is to summon Beetlejuice. So she goes running into the model, and there he is, fucking sitting on a tombstone, wearing his iconic black and white striped suit that Robin Thicke fucking ruined.
I mean, Beetlejuice knows, she's gonna have to, call for his help. So he's just waiting on her. And
to be fair, Lydia is, 15? In the 80s, that was kind of a blurred line.
Blurred line. I see what you did there.
I know you want it. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, we gotta cut that probably. So let's move on.
Yeah, you're laying it on pretty thick.
That's all going to stay in now. So he's just chilling on the tombstone, and he knows that Lydia's desperate now, and he gives her a proposition. He wants out. She wants them saved. The only way he can get out, not his rules, they got to get hitched.
Yeah, if he could,
Where
yeah,
did this rule come from?
He didn't make it. He just says it's the rule.
I'd like to see that rule book. I think he was just trying to get that lids.
I don't know if you guys watch the cartoon, but they're basically a couple in the cartoon.
Yeah, like that's my major reference, honestly, for Beetlejuice. It's not the movie; it's the cartoon.
The cartoon's great.
Yeah.
Is it canon?
Oh, I don't know. But I mean, it takes place just right after the fucking movie, and they're best of buds.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, he basically bamboozles and dupes her into this agreement, and she says his name. He brushes himself off, and it's showtime. He comes out of the middle of the fucking model. Step right up, ladies and gentlemen. Step right up, and it's just so good. He's like, "I'm back. I feel real good about myself."
He just starts spooking up the place.
Yeah. And not only is he back, he's back looking like some kind of like...
Evil carousel.
Yeah, he's just like some attraction or whatever.
It's his fucking arms unfold into a test of strength.
At first I thought he just had a couple of fire hoses. I didn't know what he was doing.
I thought you were talking about before that when he looked like a Foot Locker employee.
But he immediately basically murders Robert Goulet and his wife by hammering them with the test of strength through the ceiling.
Rip in peace, Robert Goulet and Lady Goulet.
As soon as that happens, it cuts to a scene of the Deet standing there, and he jumps onto screen and immediately goes, "Ha! That's why I won't do 2 shows a night. I won't. And then he goes into like a TV show host bit. I think the Maitlands have had enough exercise tonight. And he just kind of golf swings and they drop.
Yeah. And I think that breaks them from their like little attachment to the book or the summon.
Yes. It's hard to describe how much fun is being had in this movie and how well that translates to the viewer.
It's all about the energy. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's just charisma. Beetlejuice has all his points in charisma.
All of them.
For sure.
Like, he might have some like multipliers and some additional stuff in there too, because he's just, even though he's technically the bad guy, I kind of just want to see him wreck house.
Is he the bad guy? I don't know that he's a bad guy.
He's kind of a piece of shit. You can't get away from it. Yeah. But he doesn't save anybody. He's just like anti.
Nah, he's trying to save himself. And we get treated to a fucking super fun bit. Because now they're going to get married. And he like poofs on a red tux and a red dress for Lydia. And the Maitlands are trying to get rid of him by saying Beetlejuice. And they try to say it and fucking dude's jaw falls off. And then
he like makes the lady's mouth a zipper, and then she's like, "I'll just unzip this Beetlejuice." I got you, bitch.
Yeah, he slams a steel plate on it and poofs her to Saturn. Alec Baldwin's character tries to say it. His jaw literally falls off, and then he tries to say it again, and his teeth come out and start trying to clatter around Beetlejuice's teeth while he's dancing. And he's like, "Come on!" Just so pissed.
Very Doc Holliday.
It's so good because whenever like they say Beetlejuice the first time, it just zooms in on him going. Just,
that sound, that wheeze.
And it has like a big crescendo with like a sandworm coming back and eating him. It's fucking great.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I remember there being more sandworms.
Early in the movie, they did kind of like try to escape the house, and they like drop down into like a really bad blue screen effect, and I guess that was like a hole at the road sandworms.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since I've seen this movie, but I do remember there being more sandworms.
It's been like fucking half an hour. You just finished the movie. We had to wait on you so we could start this.
I meant like before. Fuck, you know what I mean, Eric. I feel like over
You're taking
time,
my trainers.
They've taken out sandworms.
That was Kevin Bacon.
Oh, fuck!
Did you just cause him to have an aneurysm?
I think he just became a social servant.
Oh, no. Man, our next brew we're going to have to pour out for our homie.
For real.
You guys, I don't know if I need to say this. I'm drunk.
Well, you know, step one is admission, so let's go.
But
I
like
admit
everyone,
that I'm drunk, and I also admit that I'm still drinking.
everyone gets real happy that everything's resolved. The Maitlands got Lydia. The fucking parents don't have to deal with her since apparently they didn't want to deal with her. And if she gets good grades, she gets to get possessed dances.
I mean, they
'Cause that's
probably
what we
feel
all
really
want.
good.
Yeah,
She gets to
And-
fly for a little bit, so whatever.
jump in the line. Rock your body in time. Okay, I
Yeah,
believe you.
this is another one of like the quintessential, like the key scenes from the movie. Like it's the ending scene, but it's one of those that you always think back to. Like
Yeah.
that's a core Beetlejuice scene.
And what's great about it is that if this happened in any other movie, it'd be corny as shit. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, why is this movie ending on a musical number? Why?
But it's
It
so
works.
fun.
This movie has inspired me so much that when the year I think a couple years back, I got to dress up as Beetlejuice, and my wife did a fantastic job with like the makeup and the hair. I fucking had a ball going out and just acting up. It was a ton of fun. This movie is great.
I'm not going to
I
say
agree.
the movie is great. The movie is a lot of fun. Michael Keaton makes it a lot of fun. The interactions that he has with a lot of the characters, especially Lydia, make it a lot of fun. The script could use some work, but like you can't take anything away from Michael Keaton here.
So what you're trying to say, they should remake the movie as its own sequel and just call it Beetlejuice again. Got it.
Beetlejuice.
or like Predators, just Beetlejuices.
Oh no, no.
But to wrap up, I agree. This movie is just a fuck of a lot of fun. There's just something about it. It's just charismatic. It's creative. It's a lot of fun to look at. It's bright as it is dark. Creepy as it is comedic. It works on so many levels that you don't notice any of the things that shouldn't work.
Yeah, you really don't care that there's not a whole lot of story going on, because as long as Michael Keaton is on screen, as long as Beetlejuice is there, you're having a good time, and you want to see more of it.
I think they do a great job building up to those moments that Beetlejuice gets to be there. He gets to come out. He gets to do these things. I think as a whole, the product is fun. It's been a Halloween staple for me since I was a child, and I promise you it will continue to be so.
And there you have it, everybody. That is Beetlejuice from 1988. A true 80s classic, and a horror classic as well. If you guys out there have seen the movie and have anything on your mind, leave it in the comments below.
Make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. Be sure to tap that bell so you know next time we've got another one of these brewing.
Make sure to follow us on all our social media accounts. We have an established Facebook, a growing Twitter following, and an Instagram account that keeps getting better every time we post on it, so go follow us. I say we're pretty qualified.